Hi Stitchy friends, welcome. I'm Rebecca. This is Beck Stitches Everything. This is my YouTube channel where I talk mostly about cross stitch, with a few other things sprinkled in occasionally here and there. I've been kind of sitting here I think the hardest part of filming these for me is actually pushing start to record the video. I get really nervous and then once it's on I feel a little bit better. But it's Friday, June 14th, 2024. This is my third Flosstube video. It's been about 2 weeks. I think it's 2 weeks and 1 day since I filmed last. I was going to do this yesterday, and then I just did not have my act together at all. So I'm filming this today. I have the day off work. I've got notes if you see me looking down. So I don't want to forget. I have like a long list of stuff to talk about. I don't want to forget anything. So I kicked my husband out of the house so I could film this. He works for a large beverageware company, which you can probably guess who it is based on some of my drink containers. And he's on the phone all day long for work calls, and he's extremely loud. So, and his home office is on the other side of the wall from this room. So you would be able to hear him through the wall for sure. He was going to take the dogs and go do a hike on these trails in our area, and then it started to dump down rain right before he was going to leave with them. So they're here. Amazon might make their daily appearance at our house in an hour or so if I'm still on, so you might hear Emma bark again. And then of course as soon as he left, the rain stopped. So I'm playing with the light a little bit today. I've only used natural light so far, but it's so dark. It's really overcast. So I have my craft light on over here. I hope it's not weird. I'm gonna have to figure out lighting definitely before fall and winter months in Seattle, because it's gonna be too dark to film without it pretty soon. So the hopefully the dogs won't be loud. I'm also having really bad allergies right now, so I hope I don't sound too congested or have a sneezing fit like I've been doing for days. My little pollinators in the yard, the bees are thriving. They're doing great. Sometimes I sit out there and just watch them go in and out of the hive, and they're bringing back giant blobs of pollen on their little back legs. It's super cute. So the pollen situation is making them very happy, but it's making me very unhappy right now. The allergies, I'm kind of doubling up on allergy medication and it's still not really helping. So the books are back behind me for this video. The quilt's down and folded. I've been looking at backing fabric. I've got a couple of contenders. I think I'm about to make a decision on backing fabric for the quilt. I've found my quilting frame, so hopefully I'll have that set up and ready to go pretty soon, so I can get some work in on that and some progress, which I will share with you when that happens. Oh, I was going to show you this too. I've been a long time subscriber of, a few different book boxes, monthly book subscriptions, and I've thought about canceling most of them just because I'm not really reading that much and I have more than enough books already. And then, so Fairy Loot, which I've been subscribed to for a while, was when I was going to cancel, and then I didn't. I forgot to do it before their last shipment, and then look what showed up. I'm so glad I didn't. Isn't that cool? They always have really cool sprayed or stenciled edges on these special editions. This is the book that I wanted to read anyway, so yeah. Anyway, okay. So how about this? I'm not going to do 10 minutes of chit chat like I have in previous videos. Let's just get right into some stitching stuff and talk about crafty things. So I mentioned in my previous video that I have a number of finished things that I've stitched that predate this YouTube channel that I thought it might be fun or interesting to share in some videos going forward. And the one that I picked to share today, which also is not ironed still, is this one. Let's see. I need to still get a board. By next one, I promise I'll have something like a better setup. This is Halloween Quaker by Lila's Studio. I think it's Lila's. It's either Lila's or Lila's. I think most people say Lila's Studio. This is stitched on the called for fabric, which is a 40 count linen by Picture This Plus in the color Murky. and I used all the called for flosses, which were all classic colorworks except the solid black is just DMC 310. This one I would like to get framed, hopefully, and have it up this year before Halloween. I'm having a little bit of some decision paralysis about that, because I think I do want to get it custom framed. I've seen several people on Flosstube talk about, mixed results with framing, or straight up horror stories, I think, with framing needlework. I'm sure it's a completely different skill set to frame needlework than it is to frame like a print or piece of art. So I don't know who to trust, and that's where my dilemma is. So if you live in the Seattle area or know of a trusted frame shop in the Seattle area that you've taken needlework to, if you let me know in the comments, I would really appreciate that. Or even in Portland. I've only lived in the Seattle area it's just coming up on a year now. I lived in Portland for 26 years before that, so my kids are all still there. The company I work for, their home office is down that way. So Portland still kind of feels like home base to me. I go down there pretty regularly. So it would be easy for me to take it down there too. I thought about maybe calling just Acorns and Threads and asking who they use to frame their models. And I could even go into Acorns and Threads if necessary. That wouldn't be a hardship at all. So yeah, let me know if you have a good recommendation for a framing shop in the Pacific Northwest. I would love to hear it. So I picked this one to show today for a couple reasons. First of all, as I've said before, Halloween is a lifestyle. I'm really, really happy with this one. This is not, I don't know if this is the first thing that I ever started stitching on a 40 count linen, but it's definitely the first piece that I've finished stitching on a 40 count linen. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Mine looks a little different than the cover photo, but I think that's just a function of, you're talking about hand-dyed fabrics. So you're going to have like different splotchy areas on different cuts, and also hand and over-dyed flosses. So those dye lots will be different. But I'm really, really happy with this one. It also kind of relates to a couple of stitch-alongs that I'm going to talk about later on in plans, that are ones that's going on now and one that's going to start in a couple months. And the last reason that I wanted to talk about this one now is it leads into a little celebration I want to do. So I have surpassed 2,000 subscribers on this channel, and I'm super excited about it. I want to thank you all for following along on my crafting, I don't know, journey, antics, whatever this is. So I wanted to do in this video 2 giveaways that I'll kind of like work into the video. And the first one is one we're going to talk about right now. I'm going to give away my copy of the chart for this design. So here are the rules. US only, I think, for this one. In future giveaways, I'll try to figure out international shipping and what that cost might look like. But for this video, I'm going to keep both these giveaways just to US residents only. You need to be at least 18 years old, because you need to give me your address. And I don't want the address of anyone under 18. You need to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and you're going to leave a comment letting me know you want to enter. Do not use anything in your comment like giveaway, free, win, nothing like that. I've heard horror stories about how that attracts trolls to your channel, and I want this to go to a fellow stitcher who will actually potentially stitch it someday. So if you use something like giveaway in your comment, I'm going to delete it. So just know that. Please remember that. If you would like to enter to win this one, let's use the word moon. somewhere in your comment. You can either work it in organically to your comment or just literally just leave a comment that says moon. So this is the copy I used. I did not mark anything on it. I did stick the label from the fabric I used on it, which I think that'll come off, but just know that. So whoever the winner, I'll use a random comment picker to pick a winner, and then I'll announce the winner on my next video, which will probably be in about 2-ish weeks. So yeah, that's giveaway number 1 and the first item. All right, I'm gonna drink a lot of water today. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about, and it's probably going to be something that will be like a regular segment in most of my videos, because I'm still addicted to these and have not burnt myself out on these yet at all, is our little Mill Hill section. So I have 4 finished pieces to show you today. This first one is strawberry. And with these, I have a bag of them, and I've kind of just been doing like a grab bag style and randomly sticking my hand in there and picking a pattern for the most part. But this one I did specifically pick because Marjorie at Marjorie Made is hosting a stitch-a-thon, the Strawberry Moon Stitch-a-thon, all June, where it's just, you just stitch any strawberry design and tag her on Instagram. It's been fun to see all these strawberry patterns. So that's my first contribution to that one. I also did a little patriotic one. I got an ornament tree off Etsy that I think is going to be really nice for a bunch of these seasonal ones. It's white. So once I get some of these done, I'll show that. I also did the little autumn truck. Just cute. And then this one is just too fun. The taco. There's a few food ones. I think that these will probably end up maybe just in the kitchen on display at some point. So the first 2, the patriotic and the strawberry, these are a little different than some of the other ones. So these are, if you can tell, they're fully beaded. And they only come with white floss. So they don't really take more time than the other ones. In fact, I think this one, I think I did it in just like a day. Like it was probably faster than the other ones because you're not changing floss. You're just using white, stitching the pattern, and just kind of picking up a different bead depending on what the pattern indicates you should do. No back stitching. So that part of it I like. But I think I prefer these. I feel like these have a little more depth in the design when you have that mixture of just the embroidery floss and then some beads kind of highlighting certain areas. I think I prefer these. I don't know. I think I have I don't have a ton of the ones that are fully beaded designs. I think I have a couple Easter egg ones somewhere in that bag that are. So just know that when you're shopping for these patterns, that some of them are all beads. That also leads me into my second giveaway for this video. For giveaway number 2, I'm going to give away this full little kit for the bee. It's part of the autumn harvest. So it comes with everything you need. You get floss, beads. It'll come with a regular tapestry needle and a beading needle. The instructions, there's I don't know if this has any treasures. I think his eyes are just bigger beads. So everything you need in a magnet if you want to complete it that way. I have stitched this one. It's so cute. It was a really fun one to do. Really fun. And again, with these, like the little cover photos just do not do them justice. The finished product is so much better. So if you would like to enter to win this one, same rules as before, US only. Please be over 18, subscribe to my channel, like this video. And in your comment for this one, let's use the word honey somewhere in your comment, and that will let me know that you want to enter to win this one. Yeah, so it's great. I wanted to thank everyone for joining me and spending. I know there's a ton of Flosstube channels out there, so many that I enjoy, And so it makes, you know, it warms my heart that people spend time watching my videos. Makes me really happy, and I appreciate it. So on that note, I will take a little break from like straight up stitching talk. I wanted to go through and mention and thank some people that have mentioned me in their videos recently. I've got a list. Everyone, this community has been like just over the top kind and welcoming. And I really appreciate like making these connections already. It's been so fun. So some of the channels I want to mention were the Salty Stitcher, Cross Stitch Kate mentioned me, Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch, which I'm sure everybody knows who she is. She's, you know, she's got a pretty big following, and her channel is amazing, and she does amazing projects, and she's just super sweet. The Pokey Needle, Peggy's Still Stitching, Kelsey Lee and Things, Burn Stitches. I love Bernadette's channel. She's like my Soda Stitch inspiration channel. She's also a big enabler for cross stitch accessory shopping. I may have bought a Winterberry case or two because of her. And I've been looking at some Kohana embroidery scissors because of her. Fibers and Floss Canada, who I get to meet in July. I'm so excited to meet Erica. She is coming down from Canada, I think, with Michaela of Cinematic Stitches, and I don't know if they're riding with another stitcher or two, and myself, Megan the Seattle Stitcher, and then the Thread Gremlins crew. We're all going to meet up at Threadneedle Street, which is over kind of like on the eastern side of Seattle, and see each other in person and do some damage at the cross stitch store, and I'm really looking forward to it. Also, the Sun City Stitchers mentioned me. Thank you so much, ladies. I love your channel. Stitchandchill, Annie of Exo Needle in the Hay Exo, who just posted her first full Flosstube video either yesterday or the day before. She had Liz Matthews on as a guest. She is super sweet. Go check her out if you haven't already. Like, her channel's great. Her Instagram is amazing. She takes the most beautiful aesthetic photos and the best reels. Like, my Instagram needs serious help. It really does. So she's kind of my inspiration for upping my game on that platform. And then the Thread Gremlins, who I've kind of mentioned before. It's those ladies, if you have not watched their channel, like, I don't know what you're doing with your life. They're hilarious. They're one of those channels where as soon as I see that they post a video, it's an immediate drop what I'm doing, go watch them. They make me laugh so hard. And then I've talked to them a bit on Instagram. They're just a laugh riot, and then they have amazing projects too. I think it was Kat from Wicked Cat Stitch. She mentioned me on one of her recent videos, and she said that she's like, I don't know why, but I feel like Rebecca channels kind of Caroline vibes from Thread Gremlins. Like, we could be sisters or cousins, which I take as a 100% as a compliment. I don't know how Caroline feels about that, but it could be her much older sister. So yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting them. I'm amazed how many like super sweet people I've met already just doing this and putting myself out there. So next up, after I have some water, let's dive into whips, things that I've worked on the last couple weeks. So the first thing I'm going to grab in this bag by the Pampered Needle that I got off Etsy is, we all know it, this is the Deadly Aquarium cell by Lola Crow Cross Stitch, which you have all seen, I'm sure. Everyone and their dog is stitching this and participating in the stitch along, which I think is awesome. It's like this is fun already, and that has made it so much more fun to me, just to see everyone's progress and different fabric choices. And yeah, so I am caught up. Well, I'm saying I'm caught up. The 4th exhibit was released this morning. I have not started it yet because I was doing prep work to film today. So I'll be working on that tonight. This is on a, oops, let me shift my notes here. 32 count hemp fabric. from Jackson Fabric Arts in the color Cadiz. I'm using all the called for DMC, doing 2/2. Oh, except for I added a little, I think it was the snow cone stitcher on Instagram. I added a little bit of glow in the dark floss to this guy's skull. And I kind of wish I had done it on the spines of the pufferfish. So at some point I might change that out for glow in the dark. It's just funny. I was working on last week's drop outside. The weather had finally getting kind of nice here most days. And my husband we were just sitting out on our back deck, and I was working on this, and he is 100% extremely supportive of all my hobbies. But I don't think he really gets the cross stitch thing. But I finished the last exhibit, took it out of the Q snap. I was kind of folding it up, and he just stopped what he was doing. He said, "Wow, that's really pretty." So it's a ringing endorsement of someone who does not care about cross stitch, you know, says positive things about a design. So that one will probably get framed and hung. I don't know, maybe we'll stick it in his office when I'm done. All right, so the next one, I only have some of these in bags, but this one is. This is a bag by the 805 Stitcher. Just so cute. Little gnomes and hedgehogs, and there's some bees, and I'll just pick it for the strawberry moon saddle too. And this one is In Praise of Pollinators by the Blue Flower. There's a stitch along being host by Laura, who is Lala D on YouTube. I'll link her channel below. She has divided the pattern up into 7 kind of set chunks. And so we would do 1 a month. I am not caught up. I'm not even done with month number 1. So I'm not caught up, and I'm probably not going to get caught up. And I'm okay with that. It'll get done eventually. I have made some progress since last time. I think I only had mostly the bee done, and then part of the flowers. I'd have to go back and look. I have made progress. My little bird at the top is off by 1 row. He's too high, so he needs to come out because I just can't deal with that. It's not that many stitches. This pattern is not hard, but I think there's a fair amount of people that have been kind of struggling with that border of the bee skep bear. It is kind of easy to get off by 1 stitch. This one I'm stitching on, I think it's the called for. It's a 40 count linen, Stormy Night by Zweigart. All the called for flosses, which are mostly DMC. And there's a couple of overdyes in there. But yeah, I'll just keep plugging away at it, and I probably won't catch up to the stitch along, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. Just too many fun things to do. Too easy to get distracted. Okay. The next one is this one. I'm going to try to not unroll the whole thing. All right. This is Variant of Interest by Long Dog Samplers. I've made quite a bit of headway on this one, kind of, because I think last time I had only really done this upper corner. So I'm stitching this on a 32 count linen, antique white linen by Zweigart, 2/2, and I'm using, it looks kind of black. It's like a navy blue silk floss by Silks for You that I bought off Etsy. And I love this silk. So I started this corner. I was kind of making my way across like an upper left, I don't know, start, and kind of just working like down a little bit and across. And then I started to get inside my own head a little bit. I felt like I hadn't either done my math right or had made a misstep when I put my Q-snap on, and I felt like maybe I wasn't, not only did I feel like I wasn't centered on the fabric, I felt like maybe I was so far off that I was going to run out of margin over here. So I started in this top border, which is just straight, is super boring. I didn't want to just stitch excess straight across. I didn't want to just count. So I'm like, okay, I'll start kind of stitching across the top, and then I'll do like maybe one row of the top of the motif, then do a little more straight stitching and do one row. And I did that. And I got over here and I'm like, okay, whew, perfect. Like I was right. This is almost exactly centered. We're fine. And then I did this corner. And then I ended my floss and I came back over here to start to like work down on this motif. And I realized I was off by one stitch right in the middle of that. And my reaction was, oh, fudge. Except I didn't say fudge. Let me know if you know what movie that's from. I was off by one stitch. This is like past midnight, the night that I was working on this. And I just stressed about it for a second. I contemplated, I'm like, well, maybe I can fudge it. If these were little freestanding motifs like on a bigger sampler, maybe I would do that. I probably still wouldn't, because I'm not really type A about most things, but I am with cross stitch. Like I want the counts to be right. And the more I thought about it, because of the way these are designed, you've got like really straight edges, all of the motifs kind of flow into one another and nest up against each other really closely. Like if I start having to fudge one stitch over here, I'm going to have to fudge one stitch somewhere for 492 rows all the way down this thing. And that to me is more traumatic than unpicking, ripping out, you know, a few hundred stitches over here. So those will come out. I went ahead, I just snipped a few threads over here. I'm not going to forget that I messed this up, but I didn't have it in me to start unpicking stuff then. So what I'm doing now, I came back to this edge, this side, and then basically my method is going to be keep working kind of down and this way, do a strand of floss, come over here, rip out some stitches, do a strand of floss, rip some stitches out. And then I figure by the time I've worked my way back across it, this will be gone and this will be a distant memory. So I think the trick with these is like once you get that upper row established, you're probably good to go. I mean, famous last words, I'm sure I'll make another mistake, but so yeah, I'm trying to kind of do maybe a strand or two a day on this one in June. The Crow Stitcher is hosting a stitch along called #JuneDog, where you just either start or work on any long dog sampler. I thought for a minute about starting Pandemic in June too, because I had bought a huge piece of this fabric, so I have enough of this fabric to fit Pandemic on it as well, but I think I should just get this one kind of under control before I do that. Okay, so next up is something completely different. I think you saw a start on, I know I talked about this one a little bit last time. This is a soda stitch, one of the pinup ladies. It's stitched on a 32 count. I don't know the color name. It's this Zweigart, like one of their dotted linens, 2/2, all DMC floss, all called for. As I said before, Bernadette of Burn Stitches is like my soda stitch inspiration. I was messaging with her on Instagram, and she was talking about how they all kind of look like aliens and who get the back stitching in. And yep, she totally does. So So I need to do the back stitching on her. I don't know if I'm going to do the rest of them on this same fabric. I ultimately want to make these probably just panels for project bags that eventually will get sewn someday. So there's that one. What's next? Oh, this one. It's in a, I think it's Penny and Tinny. It's PT bags is on their label. This one I also talked about last time. I've put a little more work into it. This is Molly Williams Homestead. This is a free chart from the Pinker and Pumpkin blog. It just continues to blow my mind that she gives away so many amazing charts for free. My house is pretty much done. That's the densest part of this one. I'll show you a photo of the finished one on hers. So here's the photo from her site with the finish. I think she did hers on, it's on Ada. But super cute. I particularly love the scale of the bee relative to the house. I think that's super cute. So my plan with this is, I think once I get the house done, well, I guess the flag's a little bit dense too, but should be, I would think, pretty quick to finish up the fence and the bees and all that. And I want to do a pillow finish on this. I've sewn pillows before in my life, like throw pillows for a couch, but haven't done like a little cross stitch mini pillow yet. So I bought lizard litter, I bought the poly pellets. I think as I do pillows, I'll probably be trying out various finishing and stuffing methods to figure out what my favorite is. There's that one. Go back to here. Okay, next is in the bag. This is a bag by Joyful Stitching on Etsy, the little bee gnomes. This one is another blue flower. This one's Autumn Bee. I'm stitching this one on the called for 32 count French country linen by Witchold, which I've said is not my favorite. I don't think it's, I think that's kind of a common feeling about Witchold for a lot of stitchers. I've made progress on this one. So when I talked about this one last, I said I was just going to do the DMC conversion because I think the model stitch is in dinky dyes. And there's quite a few of them. It just felt like kind of a big investment in floss for something so small, especially something on a fabric I wasn't super excited about. But as I started to get down into the bee body, that's where I put the pattern, I realized more that, can you see on the wings? Those shifts in color, it's because of the variegation of that silk floss. And so I'm not going to get that effect if I just use a straight DMC conversion. So I have decided I'm going to place an order this afternoon that for the color in the wings, that's kind of fuchsia-y magenta color in the bee body, and the gold in the bee body, and maybe that fill-in red. I'm going to order 4 of the Dinky Dyes flosses for that, and I'll do the rest in DMC. And while I wait for that to show up, if I want to work on this, I'll just keep kind of outlining and working on the parts where I know I'm going to only use DMC. But yeah, I think it'll look a lot better if I have that variegated for those bigger sections. So that's my plan with that one. All right. Sorry about the zippers. Okay. Next in my, did I show this last time? I think I got this last time. I can't remember if I showed it. 805 Stitcher bag. This is my official butterfly stitch bag because I have a few projects that are butterfly themed that I have either have going or want to start. This is Study in Pink by the amazing artsy housewife. I am stitching this one in all the called for flosses. So it was the combination of Gentle Arts, Classic Colorworks, Weeks Dye Works. It's on a 36 count fabric, but I'm using, let me see, it's Zweigart Antique Ivory, and I'm doing 2/1 on this 36 count. And on this fabric, it's feels totally fine to me. It doesn't seem like too crowded. Oops. See through. So I think I had like that leaf not finished last time. I finished that, and I've done a lot more fill in. So all of these flosses are overdyes except for the red is that awesome DMC 666. I also have, I'm not even going to show it today because it's too tiny. It'd be worth showing. I literally put like 10 stitches in yesterday. I have her pattern for Study in Nature, another butterfly, and I'm going to do that one on a red Jackson Fabric Arts fabric. And I bought the Vicky Clayton silk conversion for that one. So that'll be my first time using her silk flosses. So I've done just the little bit I've done. I already really like them a lot. So, and her prices are, they're really amazing. For silk, I think some of her bigger floss conversions, like for the Hot Crown Hollow ones, it feels like they're almost less than you would spend on DMC, or not a whole lot more. They're close. And she ships fast. And I've heard, I didn't need any customer service with her order, but I've heard her customer service is also amazing. So, all right, then my giant stuffed Creative Girl Designs bag with the, I have a bunch of several Mirabilia projects kind of stuffed in here. The only one I worked on since we last talked was I put some time into Alice. So I've done a little more work on her skirt. My pattern loose. So I'm glad I picked this one, even though I have since started a couple more Mirabilias. I'm glad I picked this one for my very first. I'm really, really happy with this fabric choice. It is 32 count, Fiber on a Whim Kunzite, I believe. It's looking a little washed out here, but it's kind of a lavender color. It's working really well with the two flosses. I'm happy with all my stitches and how they look, even the white. Someone mentioned in my last video, they had a suggestion that if you're unhappy with the way your white stitches look in DMC floss, to get silk for that. And I think I might do that for Fairy Flora because I haven't touched that one. I'm still not sure how I feel about both of the starts that I've done on that one. Erica from Fibers and Floss Canada did quite a few tutorial videos in the month of May for starting Mirabilias, beading Mirabilias. I watched her video yesterday about how to convert the skin to 1/1. So if you've not checked those out, go check them out. I'll link her below. I don't know if I'll do those skin 1/1 on this one, but I definitely feel like I have the confidence to try it on another one at some point. And I think I have decided that I'm just going to stitch Alice on this one. I don't think I'm going to do the arch or the curtains. I think I'll just have her. So that's been nice. I do want to get Cathedral Woods Goddess back out too. That hasn't been touched either. It's kind of calling to me right now. Zip everything into the zipper. Okay. Okay, so that's all the whips of like things that I have showed you already and that I have touched in the 2 weeks since I last recorded. I have started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. 6 things. 5 or 6 things. One is I designed my Carolyn Manning. It's my little small start. So I've worked on a Mirabilia and I've worked on a Carolyn Manning now in June. I'm just kind of behind on all the May stitch alongs. I'm always late on everything. This one is called Boho Granny. I am stitching this one on a 28 count linen by Witchelt, which if you don't like the 32, you will absolutely hate the 28. It is, even in this dark color, it's pretty see-through. I think when I started getting back into cross stitch, I just didn't know about like where to go and even buy stuff online. The town that I live in, it's weird because I can get to downtown Seattle by ferry and be in the thick of downtown Seattle in 35 minutes. But the town I live in is really small. There's not much here. It's like a few chain restaurants. We have the tiniest little Joanne fabrics you've probably ever seen. I think I'm one of like 3 people that are actually buying embroidery floss there. So I think when I started to get back into cross stitch, I'm used to ordering stuff off Amazon, so I kind of went and bought Witchelt linen off Amazon. And so now I have kind of a stash of it, and I don't want to waste it. So this, I had it, I wanted to use it up. It's actually working really well for this project. I think it'll be just fine. I'll show you a photo of the finished. Oops. The finished one will look like this. So I love that we have like the rainbow colors. It's especially fitting for June. And then it's kind of that granny square, which I have made some granny square blankets. I might end up giving this one to my daughter as a gift whenever I finish it. But it's fun, and these little, each one is kind of a little different. Right? And they're easy, like kind of just do a motif, you know, a day or every other day or something like that. So I want to get that one a little more attention this month and keep moving it forward. Then the next one is another start and another stitch along that's happening. This one, I'll show you the cover photo first, is Funky Chickens by Satsuma Street. This, there's a stitch along going on. If you are on Instagram and you have not already found the cross stitch Salander account, that one's great. It's a really easy way to find like all the stitch alongs that are going on in one spot. It really helped me when I was going through here and trying to figure out who was hosting everything too. So kudos to it's the Hathaway Stitchers that started that Instagram account, and it is amazing. This one, there's a stitch along happening for this one, and it's hosted by Mrs. AZ Family Zoo Allison. She has an Instagram account under that name and a YouTube channel, Flosstube. I think she's just posted another video recently. I am stitching this one. This is like half of one chicken. 2/2. This is 28 count craft store linen, like you buy in the rolls, like you would buy at Ada. It's like the Charles Craft. It's not good. I mean, it's fine. It's just, I would not buy this again. Again, kind of like the Witchelt. I have it. It was the right color and right size for this piece, and I wanted to use it up. It's pretty thin, so it is making me, because I'm usually pretty bad about traveling behind, so it's making me not do that. I'm stopping and restarting my threads. I think when it comes to finishing this into the little 3D shape, that I'll probably use some iron-on interfacing just to give it a little more structure when I'm finishing these. It's funny, I was working on this when everyone, it felt like everyone had major FOMO. So many people were at StitchCon weekend A, like watching all of your stories and posts and everyone having such a good time. And I'm like, here I am on my couch just stitching chicken butts. So I'm using the Call for Flosses with this one. I bought this pack of flosses off the Satsuma Street Etsy shop, and these are the Cosmo Flosses, and this is my very first time using these, and I really, really like them. Yeah, I love these. These are great, and it's just a really, so yeah, so I think I'm almost halfway done with this first one, and then there's 2 more to stitch, and they just use all the same floss back. So yeah, if you want to join that stitch along, jump in. I think pretty much every stitch along that I mention are pretty open-ended. Like you can just join whenever. They don't have like a deadline date, really. And even if they do, there's no cross-stitch police. So if you don't finish by the deadline date, you're okay. Nothing's gonna happen to you. You will not be arrested. This is for fun. Okay. Anyway, okay, so then the next thing that I started is a mill hill. It's funny, I was stitching these so fast that I really feel like I never had like one like as a whip, because I would do them like a day. But I did start this one a couple days ago, or a few days ago, and I have not finished my stitching. Here's my little kind of sad start, and I'm keeping this in, I think I got this bag in one of those book box subscriptions that I used to have. It's like Once Upon a Book Club. It looks like a little library checkout card. This one is the Spring Bouquet. It's the scooter. I had to get the little Vespa scooter. So yeah, this has been a nice little, I like having this little pouch. I have my pattern, my materials, my little clicky highlighter, some of these like teeny tiny little scissors I can get off Amazon. And this, I just kind of keep this in my bag. It's nice. I pick my husband up at the ferry terminal like usually a few days a week. And sometimes they're usually pretty on time, but every once in a while there's one where they'll get hung up, like the car ferries, they're unloading, and so the fast ferry is stuck out in the water, so I'll have some time to kill in the car. I also got a couple of these off Etsy. It's like the little magnetic frames. I don't really know, I feel like Mill Hill is kind of missing out here. I feel like they should have their own frames. This is, oops. So I think I mentioned one of my complaints with stitching these was sometimes as you're stitching, your thread will get, your floss will get caught up on that rough cut edge. So this is like, you just place it in here and it just magnets shut, and then your edges are covered, and it makes it really, really easy to stitch. I have found, I feel like this is kind of a game changer in one way, but not in another. So I think when I'm finishing my threads on these and running my needle under other stitches, I tend to kind of bend the paper a little bit just to shove the needle underneath, so which you can't do once it's in the frame. So I still feel like oftentimes when I'm ending a thread, I'm taking it out of the frame to do that. So it's not a perfect solution, but I still think it's really helpful. But yeah, if you just look up like Mill Hill frames on Etsy, the seller that I got them from, they seem to be the only one that I've really seen. I think they're based out of the Ukraine, so it took a little bit to get here. The shipping wasn't, shipping was probably almost as much as the little frame, but those are helpful. Okay, so, one other start that I have, also not in a bag, and this is also for an ongoing stitch along. This is the loose thread, the Floral Hen. So I am stitching this on It's a linen from Zweigart. It's one of their dotted ones. It feels kind of like that raw, or looks like that raw color linen, and the little white paint dots. It's a 28 count. I am using all the call for DMC and stitching it 2/2. Let me find a photo of the cover or the finished piece. So the model was done on white Aida, but I really like it on the tan with the dots. I'm happy with my fabric choice. I thought about doing a light blue, but I had ordered this, I think just ordered it, and it happened to show up in my mail on the day when we were starting this, so it seemed really meant to be. This stitch along is being hosted by Marianne and Fanny of the Soul Stitchers, who I love. Their channel is just lovely. They're in France, just the sweetest people. I talk to Fanny a lot on, she's Cross Stitch Couture on Instagram, quite a bit on Instagram. She has chickens. I think they both have chickens, which I want to get chickens. And their channel's just, it's just amazing. They are both amazing stitchers, and they have a lot of, I think, because they're in France, a lot of patterns that are like you won't see as frequently in the US. So it's nice to get that mixture and see some different designers and their beautiful work. And it's also being hosted by Amber, Rogue Mama Stitcher. So they are all through hosting the sale. I started in June. There's no end date, but I started this and I had a really hard time putting it down. So I have a feeling I'll be finished with this one pretty soon. I don't know how I want to finish it. I got a couple of frames from Modern Hoopla. They're too small for this one, but for a couple of other pieces I want to finish, and those are cool because you can do like the hoop finish and then you have the wooden frame around it. So I think by next video I should have something to show you, like a fully finished piece to show you using those frames. Yeah, so maybe I'll do a hoop finish. I've watched Caterpillar Cross Stitches. She has a tutorial on hoop finishing. There's a lot of different ways to do it, so I feel like I want to watch a few more tutorials and kind of figure out how I'm going to finish these. And then the last piece that I started, which I just started yesterday, and I have it in. It's also an 805 stitcher bag. This is like the Hocus Pocus. It has nothing to do with the pattern, but the colors kind of work for the piece. So this is, let me show you the photo. This is Thurza Priscilla Dawes, and this is the Thurza Goes Goth conversion. So this pattern is from Hemlock and Rye. Bought this off Etsy, and Julie of Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World is the owner of that shop. She has a YouTube channel. She's awesome. I think I've been binge watching all of Julie's past videos just to get caught up on everything. Like every single video of hers, I find something new that I want to start, so it's a little dangerous, but I am stitching this one on, it's a 40 count linen, see, by XJU Designs, and I've still have thread attached. The fabric is called Early Halloween, and it's all DMC, and I'm using all the called for colors. So I just have the tiniest little border start on that. Probably will be working on this one tonight, which is why I left it in the Q-snap. So that is all of my whips and starts. Plans. Should I even do plans? I feel like I'm gonna say I'm planning to do something and then 10 minutes later get distracted and change my mind entirely, and none of this will be relevant. But one thing I need to do, I need to clean this room and organize it. So that's a plan. Right now it looks like a cross-stitch store exploded in here. So let's get control of the situation. That's plan number one. And then there are a few other upcoming stitching things that I would like to get involved in and jump into if I can. So one thing that I alluded to earlier when I was talking about the Halloween Quaker is Leela's Studio, some of her other patterns. Samantha the Hugo Stitcher currently has a style going for the Summer Quaker design, which I do have the pattern for. She started this, I think, in August of last year for a birthday start for her, but she has no end date. She's pretty far on it, but you can just literally just jump in whenever. I can't remember what the hashtag is. I think it's Live in the Sunshine, Sal, because it's the quote here. Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe did that cool where she did like this kind of lower section as a gift for her sister and framed it in this really funky little frame from like that she thrifted. It's amazing. Check out her Instagram. It's so good. So I do want to do this one. It's all DMC. I need to make decisions about fabric. The model stitch, it was stitched on 46 count. I can't. I don't think I can. I'm at the point now where with 36, if it's a light fabric and I have good light, I can kind of do it without magnification. 40 count, I have to have magnification and light, tons of light. I just don't know if I could do 46. But on a 46 count, the finished size is 9 3/8 inch high by 11.5 wide. So even on a 46 count, it's a decent sized piece. So I'd have to make some decisions about that. She's also starting a stitch along for the autumn one. It's not, the name isn't as simple as Autumn Quaker. It's like a longer name. But I think she's starting that on the first day of autumn. So that won't start till September. But it's possible that I would jump in on both of these. So we will see. There's that one. And then what else? Oh, let me kind of move my pile here. I sort of made a mess. More of a mess. Okay. I also have supplies and the pattern for henpeck. I have a few of these little patterns, like the stacked animals. I think the first channel I saw them on was Karen's channel, KBH Stitches. She's got a good amount of whips. She's she's another one that's like responsible for a lot of things that I picked up on 123 Stitch. She's got a good eye. She picks some really, really pretty projects. This one, Handmade by Sarah W, who's on Flosstube and Instagram, is working on this one. I am using all called for. So we've got 36 count Oaken by Picture This Plus. And then we've got a mixture of Classic Colorworks and Weeks Dye Works flosses for that one. I don't think there's an official style for it, but if you check out Sarah's Instagram, I'm sure she would not be offended if you just joined her and tagged her if you're working on it. Next up, another piece that I would like to start before the Strawberry Moon Stitch-a-thon is done. I've seen a lot of people do this one. Stitchy Shara Reads, who also has a Flosstube channel. She finished this one. It's adorable. I think she did hers on 40 count. The model's on a 30. I might do it on 40. So I haven't made a fabric choice about this one yet, but I do have all the called for flosses again. It's like Classic Colorworks and Weeks. And I would definitely do a little pillow finish on this one as well. Hopefully that might be maybe it'll be a weekend start if I find a fabric that I have here that I like for that one. One other thing, D's 20 Stitches, who has been running the Stitch for Pride Stitch Along. I think it started in December or January, and it sold out really fast, and I'd never even heard about it at that point. I missed it entirely. in their most recent Flosstube video, they said they were reopening the Stitch Along. So if you wanted to get in on that one and missed it in December or January like I did, you'll have another chance. I think they said it would be opening up around June 18th. So if you're not already, follow their YouTube, Instagram. I think they have an email newsletter, so you can get alerted about that. I definitely want to join in on that one. And, oh, this is kind of, so Consider the Lilies. I had bought the pattern for that, and I think all the flosses, there might have been one or two that Acorns and Threads did not have, but I had not chosen a fabric yet. I literally got in the mail today, like 2 hours before I started doing this, the fabric that I ended up picking. This is from XJU Designs. This is a 40 count. It's baby sheep. I'm pretty sure this is the same fabric that Jordan the Tattoo Stitcher is stitching hers on. So I think I accidentally copied her. I didn't intend to, but hers is really pretty. So I'm confident that this will look really, really good. There was an Instagram friend who reached out to me. It's Suki of Suki Scrappin' Fox on IG. She had messaged me and said she was interested in starting it as well. And I told her I was just trying to figure out fabric. So Suki, if you're still want to do it, start this with me. I've got everything for it now and I'm ready whenever you are. So just let me know. That one. And then the last piece of plans that I want to talk about was a pattern that just got released a couple of days ago that I downloaded immediately. And there is a stitch along for that one that is starting July 2nd. I don't know if I'll be able to wait that long. But Amity, who is Boomerang Stitches on Instagram and one half of the channel, the Hathaway Stitchers, has released her Schitt's Creek sampler. And it is amazing. I clicked buy really fast on this one. It's full coverage, but I actually just restarted in honor of this stitch along. I just restarted Schitt's Creek season 1 episode 1. I'm gonna watch it again from the beginning. And the hashtag that she is using for this is best hashtag ever. Hashtag I have asked you thrice now for a Sal. So I think that I've asked you thrice for a towel is in the very first episode. So if you, join in on that one, I think that's going to be fun. I think that's going to be a blast to do that one. So, okay, that's it for plans. I'm at an hour. Do we want to do haul? We could skip it. I don't know. I'll do a little haul. There's been more things in this that have come into my house in the last 2 weeks, but, there are, we'll talk about a few of them. I got this giant pack of wool blend felt from Amazon. So I have enough of the Mill Hills finished now that it's time, or the stitching part's finished, that it's time for me to start fully finishing some of those. So that's the plan for this. You should hopefully be seeing some fully finished Mill Hills coming up in the next few videos here, maybe. I also got, I think I picked this one up at Acorns and Threads when I was there with my daughter, so I might have already showed you this one, but I did get a couple more of the Lindy Stitches airmail bird little finishes. These are so cute. So those might happen at some point. And then I got a couple more of the Plum Street animal stacks with the Tired Trio with the little sloths. And Raccoon Rabble. I think that Michelle Bendy Stitches is doing a hashtag Raccoon June sale, so I don't know if I'm gonna have time to start this one this month, but if you're looking for one to start, this is really cute. And then this one, this is influenced by Karen of KVH Stitches. Somebody else, I can't remember. I watched another video where 2 people were doing this one too. This one, A Peacock, a Unicorn, a Badger by the Scarlet Letter. This is beautiful. I think what I didn't really appreciate until I had seen this in at least a couple of Karen's videos was, well, you can do it either way. Like you could just like pick a dark fabric and just stitch the motifs. But the way it's charted, that's not dark fabric in the back. That is full coverage stitching. It's like a tapestry. And there's some satin stitching in the water. I think I want to do it the full coverage way. I'm gonna live to be 150, right? Anyway, I'm getting silly now. Okay, so we're at an hour. It's pretty good. I think that's kind of middle of the road. I think that's all I have to talk about. But yeah, enter the giveaways if you want to. Let me know if you know a good framing shop in the area. I hope you're getting lots of stitching done. I hope the weather is nice where you are and you're enjoying, well, if you're in the northern hemisphere, spring. It's been still it takes us till about June to get to spring in the Pacific Northwest, but we've had some pretty days. We're planning stuff. I'm doing Dahlia tours for the first time this year. 11 out of my 12 are looking really good. Number 12, I don't know. I think a slug might have eaten the plant, but I've treated and I've been treating, so I don't know. Maybe it'll rebound. We'll see. That's all I have for you guys for now. So I will see you in a couple weeks. Thanks. Bye.